afterwards. How do we make sure that that doesn't fall away? And I think everybody at this top table has picked up that baton and run with it. And this is an example that the foundations that everybody has laid is now building into high rises. This is a rivalry between two ambassadors for the sport, two terrific fighters in their own right, but also two fighters where there isn't perhaps a natural grudge match. It's a rivalry based purely on professional ambition, wanting to be the best, wanting to continue to be the best, and trying to continue to smash through that glass ceiling. So thank you to everybody that's involved. We're really excited to get this fight done. What a way for Boxer to open their account in 2024. And it must be special as well, because Natasha Jonas, your first professional world champion, Ben, and the journey continues.
It does continue. It feels like the culmination of 2 years. I think when Tasha first signed it, I think we did a 6 or 8 rounder down in London, and then we were up and we found a world title. But to have it develop into this, and for her to realise everything that she worked for the past 15 years, you know, for us it's been a 2-year journey, but for Natasha it's been 15 years of graft, and to see her getting what she deserved, to see her getting the accolades that she always deserved, it's an amazing moment for us to headline back in Liverpool, to be selling a show like the way this is sold. She's got morals going up around the city. She's a true Liverpool legend. I've been in Liverpool with her in recent weeks, and she means so much to this city, and this city means so much to her. So to bring her back as a multi-weight world champion, as someone fighting now Mikaela Mayer and having a dance partner like this in a huge fight for women's boxing, it's a special moment for Boxer and for Skysports, but for Natasha, this is everything that she's worked for, everything that she deserves. She's broken so many records, and I think she'll go down in history. And yeah, a great night on Saturday for the city to celebrate her, and for boxing to see a great fight.
We'll have a chance to speak to everybody at the top table, but I will start with the champion in her hometown, Natasha Jonas. I think this is one of the biggest compliments that we can pay both of you, that this fight was not made over social media. It wasn't made through a deep-rooted rivalry that went back to the amateur days of a disputed decision. It was made between two very proud professional fighters who want to be the best, and you stood in front of each other and effectively did the deal. Yes, I know there's financial constraints, that there's people at Boxer and Top Rank are probably pulling their hair out at me saying that. But actually, what does that say about you, and what does that say about Mikaela, that one of the main reasons we're sat here now is because both of you wanted it?
Yeah, I think it's a big statement to make. You know, so many times we see the best not fighting the best, and for whatever reason. But, you know, she wants to be in that. I believe that for me to class myself as one of the best in this era, I have to fight the best. And I look at, you know, some of the boxers in the list, the Katie Taylors, the Chantal Cameron, and they've beat people in that top 10 pound for pound list. And for me to be able to solidify a legacy for myself, I believe I have to do the same. And Mikaela's in that list, and yeah.
I'll come straight to you. I mean, it's quite nice to speak about the two of you without the fear of tables or glasses going flying, although, you know, famous last words of a fool, it's still early days. But when you hear Tasha speak like that, it is a statement of intent from both of you. To be the best, you've got to beat the best, and she puts you in that best bracket, even though you don't have a world title bringing to the table at this very moment. But how happy are you that we've got this far, just days away now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've been wanting to be back in this position for a year now. I had to take a small setback. But to me, I agree with Natasha Jonas. It's not just about the belt. It's not just about becoming a world champion again. It's about challenging myself against the best and having those names on my resume and knowing that I did my absolute best to challenge myself against the other great girls in this sport so that I can truly say I'm a pound-for-pound fighter of this era. So that's what's really important to me, one, for my own legacy, and two, for the fans, because I know these are the type of fights that they want to see. And us women have been doing that, and we're continuing to do that. And it's what we got to do to show the world that we belong in the sport and that we have a place here.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Shalom's smile will say it all, but ticket sales reflect that. I mean, there is a huge amount of interest in this fight. There's always a huge amount of interest when you're back in Liverpool, Tasha, because I know you've had to ply your trade just down the road in Manchester, as Joey Gallagher raises a little smile there. But let me ask you, and to use one of Joe's phrases, you haven't always perhaps had your flowers. You know, you've, despite what you've achieved as a two-weight world champion, there's still more work to be done. There's still dreams to achieve. There's still things that you want to tick off your bucket list as a pro. This sort of fight probably represents that. To walk out at your home arena, the M&S Bank Arena, what will that mean to you? That's one thing. But it's not about, this isn't like a retirement speech. You've got to win. You know, this fight is there to be won. You have to make sure that you do your job to make sure that this isn't a great event, Natasha, but you don't come out the winner.
Yeah, but listen, I get on at Ben all the time, but, you know, Ben does his job and secures me the fights. I've got to do my job, and that's win them. So far, we're on a great run, but, you know, that it's so quickly in boxing, doors shut when the results don't go your way. We've both experienced that now, and none of us want that to happen again. So to keep them doors open and to keep them opportunities and them bigger dreams beyond this alive, I've got to focus on what happens on Saturday and make that dream come true. And to box in front of me home crowd, you know, it's been an honour this week and a privilege to be celebrated and recognised by the community and the city that helped shape the woman I become. I've got a mural up on the wall where I used to go round and kick a football, and a little girl in the streets with big dreams, and now my little girl's looking at the realisation of the woman I've become and the mum I've become, and it's a credit to this city and what it's made me and what it's built up in me and I have to be to be successful. And yeah, it's an honour and a privilege.
It's not my job to create a fake war of words between the two of you, because it simply doesn't exist. But at the same time, you know that you're facing a top quality fighter with a wily old fox in the corner, if I may call you that, Coach Al, a man that's been there, seen it and done it. You know that they will have what they think is the game plan to unlock your game plan with Joe Gallagher. What sort of fight can we expect as neutral fans?
I just think it'll be a good fight. You know, we've both got the IQ and the ability to be able to box. We've both got the skill and the strength to be able to fight if we need to. That being said, I think our styles will gel to make a great fight. And yeah, I'm not going to be a reactive fighter and waiting to see what she pulls out the bag. I'm going to be putting my best foot forward and making her worry about me from the get-go.
Do you believe, Mikaela, that, I mean, you've been here, and unless my maths is going to fail me, this is fight number 4 here?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank God. That was almost embarrassing. Do you believe that you spent enough time here that you know what to expect, and you spent enough time around Natasha that you feel that you have the read of her, and will you concede anything to us of what you two have been working on, you and Coach Al, that you can sort of give us to add a little bit more to this fight? What are you preparing for, and what can we expect from you?
Well, one, Natasha has a ton of experience, right? She has that amateur pedigree. She's gone up against plenty of different styles. And she's had to learn how to adjust to those styles. Same with me. That's why I think, you know, having that amateur pedigree is such an advantage. So we both have that, but it's going to be a really strategic fight because she is a southpaw. I'm an orthodox. Obviously, I have a technician in my corner who's big on strategy, big on technique, and he has a game plan specifically for that I absolutely have to follow if I don't want to get in trouble after the fight. But we've been working good on it. We've brought in some great sparring partners for this camp, and I feel confident.
I think the number one question that everybody's probably been asking you this week is, how are you feeling at this point in fight week compared to previous fight weeks, when we know that making weight was, you always did it, but we know it was hard. Do you feel any different in yourself? Do you feel any different throughout camp? And if so, how?
Yeah, everyone thinks that the fight week was the hard part of making weight, but that's what made 130, or me making 130, that's why that was so unique for me, is it wasn't just about making weight on fight week. That weight cut started 10 weeks out. You know, I was dieting down from day 1 of camp. And so not having to do that this time, and maybe doing it a little bit in a more normal way and starting to watch my diet 3 weeks out or so, I was able to stay strong throughout camp, stay fully fueled, and I just felt a lot happier. It was a lot more fun for me. I feel like I was
just about to say, my question probably should have been to Marquette, to Mel, and to Al, and to George Ruiz in terms of your mood. You probably can't answer. You probably thought you were always happy, but you seem a happy camp. Perhaps it is making a difference.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think we all get a little bit of crankiness, but my crankiness started a little bit later. It wasn't as long. My cranky period wasn't as long. But, you know, I wasn't able to put on a ton of muscle in between those fights anyway, because I knew I had to diet back down to 130, and my weight was just fluctuating so much, and that does a lot to your body and a lot to your hormones. So I'm just looking forward to seeing. I know I have the experience now. I don't need to be cutting all that weight. I have the experience, I have the strength, I have the skill, and I want to be comfortable. And so, you know, we'll see how that translates on Saturday night, and I hope you see my power, and I hope you see how comfortable I feel. Yeah,
let's bring in trainer Joe Gallagher. I wonder if you have any thoughts on Mikaela stepping up in weight. It's something that the pair of you did tremendously successful. Was it 3 weights jumping up? And, you knew when to go, when not to go, and put it all together on the Christian Namas night. What do you think of Mikaela stepping up in weight, and what effect that could have?
Listen, that only if Mikaela and her team can talk about that, how she is performing in the gymnasium sparring, but no one really knows till fight night how they're going to perform. I think Mikaela will obviously be relieved in the same way Natasha was when she had to boil down for Terry Harper, Katie Taylor. As you said there seems to be a bit more happier fight week. They don't have the dread of having to make weight. They don't have to deal with the loading up straight away afterwards, and the work that they can do in the gymnasium, they can do boxing work. They don't have to do making weight work, and there's 2 different things. And when you're in a gymnasium where you don't have to make weight, you can work in boxing and tactics and skill sets and different things, where sometimes a lot of fighters, as getting near fight week, the tactics and the skills go out the window because they've got to concentrate and doing big sessions to cut weight. And no one really knows how anyone's got to perform on fight night when they've got to make big weight cuts. It's just a hope and a prayer that hopefully it comes off, because in training camp, you show me a part of training camp where you put your body through losing a big loss weight and then go and spar 10, 12 rounds the next day. They don't. So it's always a hope and a prayer. But like I say, Mikaela, obviously with Natasha, she felt comfortable. Natasha always had the power as an amateur. She won ABA titles at 75 kilos, 71 kilos. So we knew when she moved up, she always had the equaliser in her backhand. But people have mentioned this week about Natasha's power. Listen, it's nothing to do with Natasha's power, and I hate about it, because we're going into this fight on skill set. We're on about 2 girls, 2 Olympians. You don't get to qualify for the Olympics and represent your country on just power alone. You're on skill set and brains, and both these ladies here are class fighters, and they've got a show on Saturday night, boxing and female boxing at its very best, at a quick pace, with a certain set of game plans going in there, and set of skills that both girls during the contest we're going to have to switch styles if things aren't working, switch tactics when things, and be able to adapt and apply in the heat of the moment, and that's what's got to happen on Saturday night.
Do you mind if I just ask you for an unbiased view on Natasha Jonas, just in terms of, 1, what she's achieved, and 2, what she's like for the other fighters in the gym? We know you've got Mikey Talon on the bill, and Jack Massey, but when they look across the gym and they see Tasha Jonas, what she came through, what she's still achieving now, it must be a huge motivator for them, and it must be a pleasure for you to have to train her, even if her timekeeping is not always A+.
No, listen, I think that's with the timekeeping, that's something I think might have come from the Rotunda days. Do you know what I mean? She isn't the only one that used to come in late from the gym there. So, but listen, listen, there's better people out there to speak better of her, of what she's done and what she's achieved. And this is why we've got to win Saturday night. Natasha knows if she doesn't win Saturday night, the doors are shut, and them doors won't be open again for her. When she had the speed bump against Obenoff, and then lost to Terry Harper, and then Katie Taylor, it was like, that's her done. But the tenacity, the desire in her, the fire in her belly showed that she wasn't done. And she came back and she won. She took her opportunity with both hands, in the same way that Mikaela's going to try and do on Saturday night. But Natasha Jonas isn't just your normal fighter. She's something special. Everything she seems to touch her, she turns to gold. Every time I ask her to do something, she does. She's one of the best. I've always said I wish I could train 10 Natasha Jonases. She's right up there, one of the best that I've ever trained. She's very coachable. And she comes in, and as you said there, she's an example to people in the gym. The gym now with a new wave of talent, new prospects coming in. They see Natasha coming in the gym. She was ring champion, unified champion, boxer of the year. She comes in, warms up, does her thing, trains and everything else. She doesn't come in with 2 or 3 people with her. Attention to detail. I can send her video content over an opponent and a breakdown, and it'll be back to me within 5-10 minutes on what she thinks. some lads in the gym, they'll come in the next day and go, oh shit, I haven't watched that yet, sorry for swearing. But that's it. So that just gives you an idea of her. And I'm really pleased now. She won the WBC belt here in Liverpool, which was a big night for her. And like I said, we've had some great nights in Liverpool, and this is another one. And it's good to be back in Liverpool with Natasha, and obviously fighting a good name with Mikaela Mayer. And I think, yeah, it's got to be a good fight Saturday night. I have nothing but praise for Natasha. There isn't big enough words to say how good or whatever she is. And I think no matter what she touches to now, she started managing now Mikey Talon. She's got a manager's coat, or I call it a Steve Woods coat. She turns up to events with it on now. She's listen, she's got a bright future in the sport, and also in a career going forward as well.
You're going to get me in trouble. Apologies for any of the profanity that slipped out there, Joseph. Coach Al Mitchell, I want to bring you in. I mean, what you don't know about boxing isn't worth knowing. I mean, one of the OGs, I think I can say that, alongside Kay Karoma, who's been co-training for this. Are we dwelling too much on the step up in weight? Is this something that you were campaigning for a long time ago? It's of interest to us, but perhaps behind closed doors, it's not a big talking point for you guys.
First, I want to take my hat off to Mikaela Jones, coach, because he's a great coach. I watched the strategy that he got, that he tells the young lady, and the young lady is sound. She's a good boxer. In my heart, I come way back from the old school and everything. I think this is the Tommy Hearns and Hagler fight. It only is two women, you know. Good strategist he is. I watched the game plans and everything. Mikaela lost one bout, and it could have went, you know, and I know. Same for her, you know. They was right there and everything, you know. So the coach always get blamed, you know. And I watch her. She's talented. But what I like about Miss Jones, she got personality, she got class, just like my athlete. It's a great fight. Everybody should be out to see this fight. I'm just mad because it's not in the United States. Okay? But both of them is talent, both of them good boxers. I watched the way she rolled on under. I watched the way she step around. She does the same. It's who go give us the middle rounds that's go step up. Sometimes it's the coaches that put them over the cliff. Sometimes it's the athlete. Mentally, they say, shoot. I don't want to use the S word.
Yeah, help me out.
But
Thank you.
Shoot, I want it, you know. Both of them are the stepping stones that now one of them want to lose. So this is what it's all about. I think this got a chance of being fight of the year. But I guarantee you, I think it's going to be like Tommy Hearns and Hagler. And if anybody watch that fight, will tell you, every minute, every second, everybody going to be watching. And we should get more boxers like this. And what I mean, the personalities, they ain't throwing none at each other, not arguing about each other. They're just focusing on the fight. And that's good coaching. Number two is, they're going to give us 110% in that ring. This is the fight. You know, we need more men like these two ladies. They stepping up, and they don't care who it is. If I could get Tyson, she'll try to fight Tyson right now, if the money's right. But let's face it, the women boxing nowadays is the ones stepping up. I don't even pay money no more to see them in it. The women, they challenging themselves. They boxing everybody. If you got a name or your title or you number one or number two, they want you. And that's what boxing should be about. Boxing is dying. Don't let nobody tell you. Men boxing is dying. The women is the ones that bringing it up. Great fights, and I'm hoping to keep that way.
Okay, well, I hope you're wrong about some of it, but I hope you're wrong about some of it. About great words from a great man who's been there, seen it, and done it, and got the T-shirt or wardrobe full. Just, if I may finish on this, Mikaela and Natasha, I'll give you a chance to address each other almost, but just because there isn't, you know, a war of words here doesn't mean that when the first bell rings that it isn't going to be hellfire raining down. You're both motivated, you both want this, you want to keep hold of your title that you work so hard to get, and you want to make sure that you become a two-weight world champion and go home with the belt. So will you give us your final thoughts? Are we not getting carried away with the great sort of camaraderie here, but doesn't mean that when the first bell rings that the respect isn't going to go out the window?
Yeah, the respect has to go out the window that first round, because I know that I'm in her hometown. I may not have the crowd in my favor, And like Coach Al said, this is two quality opponents. We're both at the top of our game, tons of experience, and so we both don't want to lose. I have no room to let a round or two slide away. So it's no respect from that first bell.
Do you echo that? Great advert for the sport, all the hallmarks of a great fight, but once that first bell rings, you can't afford to be a spectator. You have to fight fire with fire.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, when the final bell goes after 10, that's when we'll go back to being the way we were before. But in the first of the 10th round, it's business, and that's all it is. It's just business.
And Ben, just to finish, if Coach Al Mitchell is right, Hagler Hearns, then you know, a fight of the year contender, and it's your first show. So you've got to be having your fingers crossed for this one.
Yeah, it's one we've been looking forward to for a long time. It's just a great fight, two great trainers as well. And yeah, regardless of everything that they've achieved before, for boxing fans, there's so many question marks around this fight. Mikaela's first venture at welterweight. Mikaela facing, I think, a southpaw for the first time as well. Anything can happen in this fight. It's two quality operators, and final tickets remaining. You know, this is a superstar coming home in your hometown in the biggest fight of her career. I think it's going to be electric on Saturday night, and I can't wait. Thank you to everyone involved.
Yeah, not long to wait now. Just go and consume some of that build-up content on the Boxer, Skysports social media channels. It's really good build-up. Fair play to both of you for getting involved and not telling any lies. We're going to break now for head-to-heads. Everyone's going to...